No one signed in.
Yeah, she had a lot of them did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, you just walked back and came in. How the hell I do that?
Oh, yeah. I will pray. Gracious God, our Father, we thank you for this day. We're blessed to enjoy. We ask, Lord, to be with us tonight in this meeting. We ask that you be glorified and that you continue to work toward making our communities what it should be. And be with us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. May I have your name?
Pastor Person.
Person? Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming to the South Suburban branch NAACP. I'm President Lowery. I took the presidency over in January. Since we did that, we really started to get out and make a difference in the community. A little bit about me for the first people that don't know. I was the president in Rock Island County, Illinois, where we made a lot of changes by just doing the work like filing lawsuits, addressing issues that people had, employment, housing, whatever discrimination that we saw, we addressed it. And the word started to get around the country about my branch then and how we organized ourselves and made changes in the community that I was at. I went on from there to become Al Sharp, the National Crisis Director, where I went around the country and organizing folks for the National Action Network, dealing with issues like what we face here in Chicago, and we made a big impact there. But being a Chicagoan and growing up in Inglewood, I felt that it was my responsibility to come back home and get our people together. You know, I look at the news and all the killings and with our children. Discrimination is just as bad as it was back in the 50s when I was picking and chopping cotton in Arkansas.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, it's worse. So somebody got to stand up. And when I looked at everything and I said, well, we need to actually be with an organization. The NAACP is the oldest civil rights organizations in America. And back in the day, back in the day, the NAACP name was so strong that if you lost your job and you said, I'm going to go to the NAACP, you could get your job back instantly. And that's power. Out of 23 lawsuits they went to federal court, they won 21 out of that 23. And somehow, during the attrition, we forgot to go back to the courts to make changes. We forgot what it was to really be struggling, because when the 70s came and we thought we made it, and we was able to move out to the suburbs and have a nice car and a nice home, we forgot about the real struggle. So the problems that we're facing now is somewhat self-inflicted. Not that the powers that be doesn't have their hand in it, and we already know that. But we have to get ourselves together first. And we just can't keep waiting for somebody to save us. We have to save ourselves. And my main thought is this, and I'm not a preacher, none of that. What I think about is that when I read on how Jesus dealt with a lot of things when he was on this earth, he wasn't scared. He stood up for the people that was poor. He fed those who was hungry. He committed so many miracles. And he said, greater works that you should do after I'm gone is in the Holy Spirit. That Spirit is in this room right now. Because if it wasn't in this room, then all of us people wouldn't be in here to meet and discuss the problems that we face out here. This ain't not going to change unless we understand the problem, deal with it, and unify ourselves. I was talking to Ms. Barnes. She had came to the last meeting, and it was very heartfelt to find out that one of her best friends got killed. And that took the life out of me over the telephone, because I was expecting for her to be here at this meeting. So in saying that, we really, really need to be visible in the community. And the first thing the NAACP can do is start making change in the court system. Once we start dropping some of these lawsuits against these entities that continue to rape, rob, and steal the community once we start organizing ourselves and we start taking back our schools. Parents have to be parents again. We have to get involved because that's the key to the future. We can do this ourselves. I'm tired of waking up in the morning time and looking at the news and somebody else got killed. Somebody else's son. I saw their funeral procession early today. We can stop this, but we have to change the way that we think, and we have to change the way our children are thinking. They say, spare the rod, spoil the child. That's true. Our hands have been cuffed for about 20 to 30 years. When this system came up with the child abuse, and I'm not saying abuse doesn't occur, and it does, but it's so vague that if you whoop your child for doing something bad, you go to jail. Our children now can say, if you whoop me, I'll call 911. I got 3 grown ones. They tried to call 911. But I did them the way I got raised. If I did something wrong, I got punished for that. If I didn't get a whooping, I had to stay in the house. And that was the worst thing in the day for a black kid is to stay in the house. Now we have to take the computers away and throw them out the house. But I'm saying this to say this. I'm so glad to see so many people to come for this branch. This branch started out, when I first came, I tell this story, it was as if I was a possessed man. Mr. Ross invited me to a meeting, and I was like, well, you know what, I was sort of tired of the NAACP because we went to sleep and we was having social club parties. When I went to the national office, when Fume was there, I fell out with him because I came there to address issues. They was there to have a good time. I didn't have a good time because I was complaining all the time, saying, what's up? So this branch right here can make a difference. We can be out here in the streets. The men that's in here, we can all start unifying ourselves. We can start taking these young brothers on our wings. And we can start changing the way they think, because that's what they're looking for. A lot of our young men are looking for men to step up. And the reason why they're angry with us right now, and the reason why they're shooting and killing, and they don't listen, is because this system is not designed for them or us. They continue to build jails. They're experiencing problems, but we're not addressing it. So that's why they separated us, separate themselves from us. And they think, oh, y'all ain't doing enough. We out here trying to do what we trying to do. We wear our pants down because we're trying to make a statement and we need attention. We got to start giving them some attention, but the right attention. We just can't go up and whoop them like we used to, but we have to think and we have to get them psychologically ready. And we can do that through education. The NAACP has an excellent staff here in this room. And that was one of the things that I lacked when I was with Sharpton and when I was with my college. I said, you know what, if I had a team, and we have that team right now, we will address any issues. We will file any lawsuit against anybody who does any discrimination or civil rights. We are here to fight, to make change. We're here to help our people get to the next level and get that swag back. Because I'm free. And what I mean by that, I'm free because of this. I know how to operate in this society. I know what to do when a problem comes. I pay taxes. And when I'm out here riding, or no matter where I'm at, if I got a problem with you, it's cool right now. But guess what? I know lawyers. And I'll make a phone call. And I'll have you on the evening news. That's why I'm the president here. I'm here to fight for us. I'm here to stand up for us. And look, you got to be able to dedicate yourself. Man, I'm in this all the way. I'm not just talking about halfway. I'm in this to say, if I have to die, because you know in every war, this is a war. In every war, there's going to be some casualties. But I'm willing to stand up here and say, no matter who, what, I got God on my side. I'm going to do this thing with or without those who don't want to come and be a part of it. That's fine. But I guarantee you, the people that belong to this branch will stand behind you. We're going to fight for you. We're going to make that change. And that's all I can say. God bless y'all. Thank y'all for coming.
from 5 to 8, that's when we'll be there. The reason why we're promoting from 5 to 8, whether you come in or a total stranger walk in or drive in through Wendy's, then we get a percentage of the profit. So we're encouraging you all to come on out. We're gonna have one big raffle basket for Father's Day. We're gonna have smaller items. We have a Freedom Fund fundraiser that's coming up. We don't have, it's not in your hand, but it's on your agenda. It's number 1. That is a dinner that we have each year. It financially supports the, not only the local branch, this is the local branch, but the national branch. Plus, part of those funds that day will go towards AXO. AXO is our youth group. You just saw the young man stand up. And also, we don't have our treasurer here, but he did, when I spoke with him yesterday, he informed me that 2 of our children won an organization and they're going to Los Angeles. So we will need funds to help those who are signing up for committees to be a member also. So we encourage that as well. So we will have applications. Actually, this young lady will have applications, but you will actually, she's gonna hand them out to you, and then Eveline, she will have applications, and then myself, as well as membership chair, Ms. Ball, can you just raise your hand? We're gonna be up here at the table at the end of the day, and then you will turn them in to us.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Gary Kopachinski. I am a trustee in Park Forest, and you are looking at the Media Relations Committee. Thank you. I do e-news Park Forest online, and I'm going to put video from this meeting up on the on our site. I want to thank you all for coming. This is an incredible showing, and I think one of the best statements of purpose at the beginning was President Lowery's opening remarks.
Yes.
But ladies and gentlemen, unless we get the word out, nobody knows we're here. So I need people who are willing to help on media relations, and I would appreciate any and all. So forms are right over here. Thank you.
And they'll be available for you to sign in at the end of the day. Mr. Vice President.
There you go. That's another committee that needs help. Media relations is open to all types of expertise. You have expertise with hardware, with software, with equipment, or if you have speaking capabilities, or if you have contacts, there you go. I mean, it's just wide open for anything you want to do. Join us and do it.
And right on the edge of your agenda, you'll see the different chairs there. So while we're speaking, we're continuing with the meeting, then you can kind of glance to see what we have available.
Just to reiterate, I'd like to make one more thing about, like she was saying, remember, the chairs are right here, the membership are right here, but there are actually more, there are additional chairs that you can create if you need them. If you go out to the national site, they have a whole list of potential chairs that we can create if we need them. So this isn't everything.
No, that's not everything. Plus, I have more over there.
Right, you do.
I do. Place them over there.
Question.
This open forum now, we can ask questions.
Yes, if you have a question.
I want to ask, is there something afoot with the South Suburban chapter for us to get a permanent facility, so we don't have to bounce all over the South Suburbs? I mean, is it something that we're going to try to do in this chapter out here to try to get a permanent facility somewhere?
Okay.
With the
Yes.
market, let me finish. With the market being the way it is, properties being available and everything, and I know it takes funding, we understand that. But we really need to get a permanent facility for the South Suburban chapter NAACP. We really do.
Thank you. One of the reasons why we were going from place to place, because we cover so much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is our goal for the future.
Mhm.
So that's no problem. That was excellent to bring out. we're going from place to place because the South Suburban is a large place. Now, for the last, 3 or 4 months, we've been here.
Okay.
And for the next 3 months, we plan on being
I
here.
understand.
Now, if we get if the crowd is too huge for here, it's a much larger facility downstairs. A room where we can go to where it's really large, right, downstairs. But for right now, we're stationed right here. We haven't moved since February. I think we've been here since February or March. But that's great. We've actually been here since that time.
Right, and in response to that also, because of the, like, for instance, in the future, the airport may be out here. You got a lot, companies, jobs, contracts, and things like that. We're pretty big out here. It's a pretty big, populace out here, possible members. So we need a permanent facility because when all these things start starting to happen, and we start dealing with massive, I always use the word massive discrimination, not just discrimination against people of color, particularly black people. We need a permanent facility out here so we can give them notice and they can pause before they start discriminating against us for all these big things that may be coming out here. Okay, and we'll stay on top of our state legislators and things like that, but we need a permanent facility so they'll know we here. And we're going to deal with them if they deal with us in that type of way out here when these big projects and big things come out here.
Right. What's your name again?
Anthony Woods.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments at this time?
Are any of our local state representatives, state or federal, do they ever participate in the organization, like come to the meeting, see what the community is thinking? Do you ever?
Yes.
Well,
Well, we have
I've only been here like 18. I've been only like close to 2 years now, and I don't even know who I was state representative. I think it's just Jeff.
No, that's a congressman.
That's a U.S. rep.
Yeah.
He's our U.S. U.S. congressman. I don't know who's the state representative.
Okay, depending on where you live,
What district are you in?
I live in Dalton. What district that is?
okay, is that Thaddeus? Was it David Miller's old area? Yeah. Oh, you don't know? Okay, that's no problem. It should be State Representative Thaddeus Jones, who is actually a member here.
Okay.
He's a life member,
Okay.
not just a regular member. He's a member here, and that's the gentleman that
I could care if he was a member or not. I'm just wondering.
Oh, well, we want them to be a member. We want to care about that because that's one of our goals, just like you said. You want to know who they are, and then our goal is to make them a part of us. So we will have their ear when we get ready to say something. So and he's accessible. You can call his office, but you can always call me. I'll make sure you have my number, and then I'll double check who your representative is, because the line goes in and out. But I'll make sure of that.
Question.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to commend the leadership of this branch for where the branch is right now and the growth that has taken place. I'm Reverend Lawrence Blackfield Jr., former branch president, and again, I just want to commend you all for where the branch is today, and to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. What I would like to do, because it goes so quickly, believe it or not, it's almost time for us to shut down. I want to make sure Sean
Gowder.
Gowder, briefly give his information out. Do you have any flyers?
Yes, I do.
Matt? Yes.
How you doing? My name is Sean Gowder. As you can tell, I'm a Second Amendment man. I represent the Chicago Firearms Safety Association. We are a pro-Second Amendment group. We are pro-concealed carry. We just had a House Bill 148. How many of you heard of House Bill 148? House Bill 148 is the Family Personal Protection Act. Right now in Springfield, it's on the third reading. Second Amendment is the bill. It's being held right now. It's not dead. They had a vote on it, I think a month ago.
Yep.
It missed passing by 6 votes. We need a supermajority for House Bill 148 because we want to supersede local cities and municipalities. So you need a supermajority, which is 71 votes. We got 65. No black representative from Cook County voted for the bill. No black state representative in Cook County voted yes for House Bill 148. Like I said, it's the Family and Personal Protection Act. It allows law-abiding citizens. Nobody with a background could qualify for House Bill 148. You have to be trained. They had a lot of good things in the bill for law-abiding citizens. So we pro-gun, and we're trying to make it so law-abiding citizens can protect themselves. 48 states so far out of 50 states already have some type of carry legislation on the books. Illinois and Wisconsin are the only two. Wisconsin governor said if he get a bill to his desk, he's gonna sign it. They're working on it right now. So we're gonna be the only state left in the country that doesn't allow law-abiding citizens the right to conceal carry. Now, I often use the statement, when I was 25, I can beat up 25 people at one time. Now that I'm 45, I can't do it. And I can't run like I used to. So when they do these flash mobs, I can't run. And I don't want to be a victim to get beat down. So now, right now, we have a choice. You have a choice to carry a weapon and get caught and you become a felon, convicted felon, and 9 times out of 10, your life is downhill from that point. Or when you leave out of the house with nothing, you have a chance to be a potential victim. I don't want to get beat up. I don't want my mother to get beat up. I don't want my kids to get beat up. I don't want my family to get hurt. Not for no nonsense. So I'm in support of House Bill 148. We meet every second and fourth Tuesdays at 700 East Oakwood Boulevard, which is the Center for Inner City Studies. If many of you have been out to the Expo for Today's Black Woman or the African Fest in Washington Park, we normally have booths out there, and we're going to have booths out there again this year. Now,
I'm sorry, you have flyers for
right.
as well.
Anybody interested? I have flyers that talks about the Chicago Firearms Safety Association flyer that talks about House Bill 148, and I have applications for FOID cards. Now, all of us that apply for FOID card, all of us won't get one because some of us got a background that won't let us get one. So only law-abiding citizens are going to be able to get that. So if anybody needs applications, I have them. If anybody have any questions in the future about, concealed carry or the gun laws that we have now,
I wanted
feel free to ask.
bring in is voter registration. I have the cards. Whether you live in the city or the suburban area and you move, maybe you're not registered. Everyone in the state of Illinois can register to vote. Now, sometimes people may, unfortunately, go to jail or prison and they tell them they cannot vote. That's not a true statement. I have them up here. I also work at the courthouse, so they will be turned in tomorrow. So everyone can register to vote in the state of
Just to
Illinois.
answer that a little bit, there was a big expungement seminar this weekend that I didn't get to. Really late. But anyway, one interesting thing that I noticed is that you don't have to be convicted felon or somebody who's a hardened criminal that needs help. It can just be like a high school kid who did something in high school and got arrested. So they have an arrest record now. In fact, it just happened at ATEL. About 14 kids got involved in some senior prank, and I know some of the kids, and they got arrested, and now they have an arrest record, and they really should see somebody like Valencia have that thing expunged at some point in time because it was a very minor thing, but they did damage some property. So this is not just it's just not somebody who's a hard criminal or something like that who's done something in the past, or it could just have to be a felony or something. Which was, I found it expunged felony anyway. From what I was reading, you can't do that anyway. But
Right.
anyway.
But once they call me, I'll direct them in that area because I know other ways.
I know kids that was in high school that coached soccer, and I know for 9 years, and I know kids got in trouble, but I never even thought about that. They got in trouble, they got arrested for something silly like a high school prank. And I know their parents even know about that. They need to do something about that. That's something they probably do right away.
And with that, with him saying about the high schooler, a lot of times they use the high school children to do certain things and say, they're not gonna mess with you. The only difference between a juvenile case and an adult case is juvenile case is hidden from the public. However, a juvenile case can be used once you become an adult because it's accessible through the state's attorney, law enforcement. They can still see.
I didn't know my advocates something. But I was actually going to talk about guns because of what happened recently. And I'm probably, we're opposite. I don't think we should have no guns. I think we got enough already. And here's a good example. A gun's not going to protect the kid who got killed over at the party. When he stepped out of his car, Linwood. He stepped out of his car, somebody was fighting across the field, parking lot, and he got shot getting in his car.
Those were illegal guns.
Okay,
Clear on that?
okay, one of the things is, Mr. Vice President has the floor, and everyone has the right to disagree in here,
Yeah,
but
and
we're
I'm
gonna
saying-
agree to disagree.
And I'm taking this because when I agreed to do the sort of host the meetings here,
Let me
to
see
do
this
this,
individual.
this is my soapbox. So I'm getting on my soapbox. And another thing that happened was that there was a woman who was killed in the city who just graduated from college, and she was basically just walking down the street, and she got shot. She could have had all the training and guns on that she wanted. She's so weak. It's because we just got too many weapons in the city. Too many weapons. So, and that's where I feel. And I'm not going to talk about that much more, but
Attorney Evelyn has a announcement.
The branch, the Legal Redress Committee has initiated an investigation into the attorney disciplinary process for the state of Illinois. There is evidence that there's disparate treatment in the attorney disciplinary process. So if you know any attorneys that, even if they haven't told you they've been disciplined, but if you know any attorneys that are licensed in the state of Illinois, if you could have them get in contact with the chair for the Legal Redress Committee to provide some information. We're trying to gather information about whether or not they've had any experience with regards to the disciplinary process, what was that experience like, and things like that, because it seems as if there is a problem, a big problem. And so we're asking that you spread the word out because that agency is not subject to the Freedom of Information Act. They do not have to disclose any of their information to the public. So the only way that the NAACP can actually get information is from the actual people. So if you know any attorneys, please have them get in contact with President Lowery, or, I mean, my information is not on there, or Valencia, or the chair for the Legal Redress, Mr. Hall, so that we can try to get this information and see if there's a problem, right? At this particular point, it's not confirmed, but the preliminary data does not bode well for the process being non-discriminatory. So if you could just pass that word out and let people know, we're going to have some information on Facebook, and then, or you can go to the website and just send information to the email address on the website. But if you could just, if you know anybody that is a lawyer and that's licensed in the state of Illinois, even if they're licensed in another state, but if they're licensed here, if you could just have them get in contact with us, that would be great.
I had a question on that. Is there any statute limitation on how far back you can go in regard to that?
With regards to any discriminatory practices, right now the focus for the investigation goes back to the year 2000, but at this particular point we're just really trying to talk to people because we can't get any information from the agency. So and that is the only agency that we are aware of that don't have to tell you, the public, anything, but we pay, our taxes pay for its existence, and they're exempt from disclosing data. So, and they don't report to anybody that information. They do issue reports broken down based on practice areas and based on gender, but they do not break it down based on anything else like age or ethnicity or any of that stuff. Although they are required to collect that data from people as they become licensed in the state of Illinois, they are not reporting their disciplinary actions based on that information, which is kind of like a red flag. But in any event, we're not making any conclusions at this particular time. We're not we're not confirming that discrimination exists. We're just trying to see if there's a problem, and if there is, then we'll have to address that.
And of course, on your agenda, all of our contact information is at the bottom. So you can always call us and say if you want to speak with President Lowery, you can leave that message on there.
And let them know that the information that they provide is going to be 100% strictly confidential. We understand that some people have gone through things and they don't want everybody knowing what happened to them and things like that, and that if they report the information to us, they can do it anonymously, as long as they give us like a year. If they did participate in a disciplinary process, give us the year that they participated. They don't have to give us their name, but we do need things like age and things and ethnicity and stuff like that. But we will be keeping that information strictly confidential.
Thank you. We have one more, and then we're going to close out,
One more
which
question?
is, no, not a question,
Okay.
from Sabrina.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to introduce myself because I was trying to get chairs for everyone. My name is Sabrina Smith, and I am the education chair. I was hoping that we could get a couple of people to sign up for the education committee or some committee tonight, like you said, especially for education, because we have to put together a goal for education. And the one thing I've learned with education over the last couple of years is it's pretty broad. I can't just say, okay, well, let's find programs for children, for kids. That's easy. But there's so many other people going back to school now. Go to South Suburban, go to Moraine Valley, go to Prairie State, go to Chicago State, go to these different colleges and universities, and you're going to see that the student doesn't look like it did 20 years ago. So I would like to have a couple of people on the committee so we can put some ideas together. I want to have some fundraisers for scholarships, because we can do these things for these kids in the community. So I just encourage some of you, however many of you, to sign up. Please sign up. You know I keep looking at you because I keep looking at you. I'm not gonna bust you out, Teresa. But please, I encourage some to just sign up so we can really get the ball rolling. We can